you all so much for coming. We appreciate you guys. Just a quick announcement: the event will be starting a tiny bit late, maybe around 1:20-ish. So just sit tight and have fun and mingle with people. And yeah, just sit tight a little bit until 1:15-ish. Thank you so much. You may clap.
just got the letter on Friday, and I didn't know how to tell you.
I'm really happy for you. Okay. Let's go have some fun.
All right, everyone. Thank you all so much for waiting. I know you guys have been waiting for a really long time. Really appreciate you guys coming here today. Wow, there's a lot of people here. Okay, I'm shaking it just a little bit, but hopefully you guys can't see. Again, thank you all so much for being here. This is TEDxTIU, Rethinking the Normality. And just one quick reminder, we are going to be taking pictures and we're also going to be recording. So hopefully we have everyone's consent. If you do have any problems and you would like to not be, within our SNS posts and things like that, just let our reception know later on during the break. Also, because, we are working with TED, none of the talks today will be recorded, can be recorded by any of you guys. Hopefully that makes sense, all right? Thank you, and now I will give it off to Aura to explain in Japanese because my Japanese is not the best. And I'll take some time before I actually embarrass myself on stage. I'll do that later on in the event. So Aura, よろしくお願いします。
ありがとうございます。皆さんご来場いただき誠にありがとうございます。私たちは TEDxTIU Rethinking the Normality からです。皆さんにリマインド皆さんにリマインドなんですけど、メンバーたちがこの会場のイベントを動画や撮影するので、そちらの許可をいただきたいなと思っています。もし嫌でしたら前の方のレセプションでいただくと大丈夫です。そしてですね、こちらのイベントの動画や撮影はご遠慮させていただきます。皆さんのご協力をお願いします。Yay, let's have fun! お願いします。
Welcome to something special. Welcome to TEDx. This TEDx event is part of a global conversation that takes place every day in every corner of the world. In schools, in theaters, in workplaces, even in prisons, people gather to hear the best ideas bubbling up in their communities. More than 3,000 TEDx events are held every year in 170 countries. It's a remarkable thing. TEDx events are self-organized under a license from TED, a non-profit organization devoted to discovering and sharing powerful ideas in the form of TED Talks. It's not TED itself, but your local TEDx team of volunteers that has done all the work to put on today's event, including booking all of the speakers. It's this team's ideas, dedication, and time that have made this possible. We really hope today's program sparks an exciting conversation. This is a day for curiosity and for skepticism, for inspiration and for action. The more you enter into it, the more you will take out. And now, on with the show.
Ladies and gentlemen, can we have one more round of applause for Chang?
So, Chang just combined 3 genres of dance: contemporary, hip hop, and chill, to give us the amazing performance that we just saw.
You know what? I feel like dancing right now, like Hawaiian dance or hip hop dance.
Why don't we save that for the end of the show?
Okay, but anyways, moving on. Welcome to TEDxTIU.
Okay, so even though I'm pretty sure everybody here already knows, the theme for our event today is going to be, and can I get a drum roll for this? Rethinking the Normality! And since everyone here today is probably going to be seeing a lot of us, we should get to know each other.
Yes, exactly. So, hello guys. My name is Zenji. Zenji. And I'm just finishing my first year, and I love music, and I'm very excited to be a co-host for today.
And my name is Hayati. I am actually in my final year here at TIU. And I am also very excited to be your co-host for today. We have an amazing lineup of speakers and performers planned. Zenji, since you like music,
Yes.
we have a great musical performance coming up.
Well, I can't wait to see them. But, Heidi,
Yes.
how much do you know about TEDxTIU?
So TEDxTIU is a varsity club that was founded in June 2020. A total of 50 members have been planning for a really long time to bring this event to you today. And I'm sure that it is going to be amazing. Zenji, are you
Yes?
as excited for today as I am?
You know how I feel. I feel good.
Okay, just good?
Yeah, just good.
Okay, that's not going to be good enough. Let's check in with our audience. How is everybody feeling about today?
Yes, really.
Very good. All right, it sounds like everyone's ready to go.
Okay, so we're going to hand over to our Japanese MCs. Please welcome Yuhei and Yune, and let's get started.
善治さん、早知さん、ありがとうございます。
ありがとうございます。
ここからは日本語 MC がイベントの紹介をさせていただきます。まずは自己紹介から始めていきましょう。本日イベント MC を務めさせていただきます渡辺優音です。今回このような場で皆様にお会いできたことを光栄に思います。このイベントが皆様も私たちも楽しめるように頑張ります。よろしくお願いします。
同じくゆうへいさんとイベント MC を務めます本田ゆうへいです。今回のイベントで多くの人に盛り上げていけるように頑張っていきますのでよろしくお願いします。
今回のイベントは普通を見直すを定義に話していきます。
はい。
普通ってそもそも何でしょうかね、ゆうへいさん。
私が考えている普通は大学に行って友達と会い一緒に勉強することが普通だと考えています。ちなみにゆうねさんはどのように考えていますか？
そうですね、私は毎日朝ごはんを食べることが普通だと思っていました。でも私の友人の多くは朝ごはんを食べないや食べれないといった人が多くいてとても驚いたんですよ。
確かに私の友達も朝ごはんを食べない人中にはいるんですよ。ちなみに本日お越しいただいた皆さんの中で私朝ごはん食べないかもっていう方手を挙げていただいてもよろしいですか？お、
いっぱいいる。
多いまあそういうね ありがとうございます。おろしていただいてやっぱたくさんいらっしゃるんですね。自分は朝ごはんよく食べるので人によって普通の認識がそれぞれのようですね。
そうですね。他の人の普通についても知っていく必要がありそうです。今回のこのイベントは他の人の普通を知り再適用、再定義、再評価をすることが目的だと思います。
今回のイベントを通して普通について皆さんで考えていきましょう。
ここでイベントを始める前に皆様にいくつかお願いがあります。1つ目は携帯電話をマナーモードにしてください。また機材の関係で学内 Wi-Fi を切っていただくようお願いしています。そして2つ目はコロナ対策にご協力をお願いします。マスクをつけてソーシャルディスタンスを保ち、定期的に消毒をお願いします。
3つ目はトークやパフォーマンスの途中で扉を開かないでください。4つ目は今回動画配信とレコード用にカメラの撮影が入っています。観客の皆さんが映る場合がありますのであらかじめご了承ください。それでは早速トークセッションに参りましょう。
ところでゆうへいさん、
はい、
私東京国際大学に入って4ヶ月が経ったんですけど、まだ留学生の方たちと交流ができてないんですよ。ゆうへいさんは留学生の方々と交流はありますか？
もちろんありますよ。私たちが通っている東京国際大学では92カ国の留学生がいます。キャンパス内でも留学生と交流することができるんですよ。実際私は10カ国のお友達がいます。
10カ国ですか？
はい。
すごいですね。どうやって仲良くなったんですか？
例えば実際私は留学生とゲームをするイベントに参加したり、あとは異文化交流ができるサークルに所属していたことにより10カ国お友達ができました。
へえ、ゆうへいさんの行動力はすごいですね。実際に交流していて驚いたことはありますか？
そうですね。例えば日本人は好きな時に食べたりとか飲んだりすることができるんですけど、留学生のお友達に聞いたところ、宗教の関係で断食があって、日の出から日の入りまでの間は飲食ができないそうですよ。
そうなんですね。毎日3食必須な私にとっては信じられないことです。もしかしたら授業中にお腹が空いてしまうかもしれないですね。他に何か文化の違いを感じたことはありますか？
そうですね。先日ベトナム料理を食べに行った時なんですけど、ベトナム料理の看板メニューにシーフードフォーって書いてあったんですよ。そのシーフードフォーって見た瞬間、私は海鮮系でさっぱりする食べ物だと思っていたんですよ。で実際に注文したところ真っ赤なフォーが出てきたんですよ。
真っ赤。
はい。そして食べたら舌がヒリヒリってなって、痛くてとても辛かったんですよ。
大変でしたね。
自分の普通が海外では違うっていうことをその場で肌で体験しました。
それぞれの地域によって普通の認識が違うっていうのは面白いですね。ところで私たち結構喋りすぎたかもしれません。
そうみたいですね。やっぱ普通について語りすぎちゃいましたね。
そうですね。そろそろイングリッシュ MC にバトンタッチしたいと思います。どうやら面白いお話が聞けるようですよ。
ワクワクしますね。
それでは善治さん、颯さん、お願いします。
Okay, thank you very much, Yuni and you here for that lovely introduction.
Thank you very much. Oh yeah. Hey, I have a question for you. Have you tried doing business before?
Doing business.
Yes, business.
Okay, actually, when I was a kid, I tried to open up this lemonade stand at the top of my road. Now the problem with that is that it was a very hot day, and I ended up drinking all of the lemonade that I was supposed to sell to other people. Now by the end of the day, I had no money.
No money.
I had no lemonade.
No lemonade.
And I was very sad.
You're very sad. So no lemonade for me too.
No, I'm so sorry.
Okay, that's definitely very sad. But luckily, our next speaker has a lot more experience and definitely have more success than Heidi's lemonade.
This is true. That's not difficult. But Mr. Winston Chu is the CEO of Wayfarer, a company that is building a network of technology-first accommodation all the way across Asia. He specializes in digital innovation, and he has succeeded at numerous business ventures.
Please welcome Mr. Winston Chu.
Hey guys. Okay. So, if you were writing the story to your own main character, would you describe them as normal? Or would they be the chosen one, the Harry Potter of your story? Normal. It sounds comforting, but is it really? What are the words that we use to associate with normal? Traditional, mundane, safe, routine. It's not very exciting stuff, is it? Indeed, if we stuck to being normal, we wouldn't have a lot of the cool things that we enjoy today. Instant noodles, cars, trains. Let's be honest, we wouldn't have Netflix. Can you imagine that just 10 years ago, you had to let videos buffer for 5 to 10 minutes before you could watch them? That's like 6 videos on TikTok. A lifetime would have passed. Why did we even bother? Innovation is incredible, and together we can help push it forward by changing just slightly how we think. Across history, our dissatisfaction with normal has led us to build incredible things. Every few years, there's a new normal. The term new normal is very interesting. It's like someone has to shepherd us into a new era, almost as if we don't like it and have to be dragged out of the old normal. It's a bit ironic, but also somewhat true, because as a society, we accidentally reject normal a lot of the time. In his book, Crossing the Chasm, Jeffrey Moore introduces us to the adoption life cycle for new products and services. And according to this, 85% of us are not early adopters. That means 85% of us prefer to play it safe. 85% of us, all right, don't like 85%. 85% of us prefer to stick with the status quo. For innovations to reach that 85% of the market, you literally have to cross a chasm, sometimes referred to as the Valley of Death. The Valley of Death. Now, some of you may say that not all ideas deserve to survive, and that's absolutely true. The Valley of Death, in a sense, eliminates bad ideas or poor execution. But I would assert that there's a lot of great ideas that just never got the chance to become relevant. Things that could have made us better, faster, smarter, healthier. Things that aren't normal today. And so let's take a look at history and see a few innovations that we almost rejected. 15 years ago, many of us were saying that no one would buy clothes online. You have to try it on. You have to feel it. And yet I stand before you today with most of my outfit having been purchased on the internet. Let's go further back. New York Times, one of the most established and credible publications, wrote that it would take 1 to 10 million years for humans to build flying machines. 2 months before the first successful manned flight. We'll circle back to flying later. When the automobile was invented, brain specialists said that drivers would go insane because their brains would get squished from going at such high speeds. And if we go further back, at one point in time, the telephone was the instrument of the devil. That's crazy. Fortunately, many of these inventions survived, or all of them. But that type of mentality has killed tons of great ideas. And that's just for the average consumer. In business, it's arguably even harder because entire market structures are built around the normal for decades. As a result, change in business happens very slowly. There's literally a phrase that cautions us against change. Don't reinvent the wheel. Now, we have many professional, logical reasons for not reinventing the wheel. Retraining staff is costly. Business continuity might be affected. And most of all, it introduces uncertainty, which is perceived as dangerous. But over the long term, I would argue that what's more dangerous is that this type of thinking stifles the pace of innovation. Indeed, uncertainty is something we should embrace because uncertainty is the soil for innovation. Now, using it as an analogy, what can we do with soil? There's tons of applications, among which are construction, agriculture, combating climate change. But before any one of us could do any of these things, someone at some point had to dive in and understand the basic building blocks of soil, and then think about how to apply it to that solution. This is what we call the first principles approach, where you rip off the assumptions, the analogies, the traditions, and you really examine something from the fundamental truths to work into a solution. The process is fraught with uncertainty, and yet the insights or discoveries can be revolutionary. Now, let's go back to flying for a second. Everyone today knows that the Wright brothers pioneered human flight. It's a commonly known story. But in the late 1800s, no one knew who the Wright brothers were. They were some guys who made bicycles. The person charged by the government, no less, to enable human flight was a man named Samuel Langley. Now, this guy was a boss. He was an astronomer, physicist, inventor, aviation pioneer. And based on the most advanced research of the day, he concluded that enabling human flight was all about power. And so he took the best engineers and created the engine with the most power in the smallest form factor, dumped it into the Langley Aerodrome, and failed miserably. The Wright brothers, on the other hand, really had no idea what they were doing. How could they? They made bicycles. But they were fascinated by the idea of human flight. And so they started doing tests using first principles to just try and figure out what works. They started at low elevations, didn't use a motor, referenced how birds fly. And over time, they discovered that it wasn't about power. All of the prevailing research was incorrect. And fast forward to 1903, they changed history with the first successful manned flight. But innovation is not just about scientific discovery or technology. It can also be applicable to many things and many businesses. Starbucks is a brand we all know today, but Starbucks wasn't always ubiquitous. In 1987, Starbucks opened their first store in Chicago, which was also their first try at expanding beyond their home base on the West Coast of America. Many experts said that they would fail because Chicago was really far away from Seattle, and people in Chicago wouldn't like the dark roasted coffees that Starbucks was pioneering at the time. And indeed, they looked right in the beginning. The Chicago store was losing tons of money and threatened the validity of Starbucks' entire vision. And so they made changes over time. Because Chicago is colder, they moved the stores from streets into lobbies. They tweaked the business economics to account for higher labor costs and distance from the roasting plant. They emphasized cappuccinos and lattes because they had a lighter flavor profile. And over time, turned Chicago into the success that allowed them to ramp across the rest of America and the world. It took 20-odd years, but using first principles, Starbucks redefined the coffee industry. And at Wayfarer, we're trying to do something similar in our own corner with hospitality. When we started the business in late 2019, we had no idea that we were on the doorstep of the worst crisis in travel since the invention of the airplane. I'd never run a hotel business or any business and didn't have a team. So by any measure, we should be extremely dead. But COVID also gave us the opportunity to learn and observe as hotels all around us were crumbling. We really had to re-examine from the foundations, what does it take to run a hotel? And so we threw away the traditional playbook and we started anew, building up with no preconceptions. And I think we might be onto something. But whatever it is that you do, I believe that the pace of innovation can be accelerated if we used first principles. And when you guys hear about first principles, it's very easy to identify with. It makes sense, right? And yet at the same time, it's ironic that we are so quick to dismiss new ideas different from the normal until some newspaper includes it as part of the new normal. Why is that? Why do we love our iPhones, our Netflixes, our Frappuccinos, and yet are so quick to dismiss the ideas that led to these innovations? Daniel Kahneman might be able to help. Kahneman is a celebrated economist and won the Nobel Prize for economics. Fun fact, he never studied economics, he studied psychology. But in his book, Thinking Fast and Slow, he talks about how people think. And I'm only skimming the surface here, but basically, we as humans often rely on autopilot. What do I mean by that? Well, here's how it works. On average, each of us every day makes over 35,000 decisions. Which side of the road to walk on? Which leg to shift your weight to? Whether to pull out your phone. Can you imagine if you consciously had to process all of these decisions? Your brain would melt. And so to avoid that, our brain uses a lot of smart shortcuts, such as we take a situation or information and compare to experience or situations that we know about in the past. We place higher value on information that springs to mind quickly. And most of the time, it works wonderfully well for any problem at hand. That is what Kahneman calls first-level thinking. But what about this? 71 times 46. Now, I don't know the answer to this math question, but the point is, generally, you can't autopilot this. So what you just experienced, or are experiencing, is deliberate, slower, logical thinking. You have to pay attention. You literally have to decide whether you even want to deal with this right now. That is second-level thinking. The problem is, because our autopilot shortcuts work so well, so often of the time, we even use it for things that we probably should spend more time thinking about and deliberating. In fact, 98% of our thinking is actually first-level thinking, and many of us do not even realize it. And so you can imagine that it's pretty hard to use first principles approach if we're always relying on information and knowledge that is already existing. I think we can agree that across the course of history, the pace of innovation has been closely tied to the pace at which our lives have improved. So how can we help do more of that? How can we help drive innovation? How do we collectively rethink what is normal? How can we make our lives better? Well, we don't all need to be Harry Potter or be working at SpaceX, Elon Musk's spaceship company. I believe what we need is an awareness of first principles, an awareness that the status quo is not the best or even necessarily correct, the willingness to understand a problem without preconceptions. If we can, on Geoffrey Moore's adoption life cycle, narrow the chasm by just 5%, maybe even 1%, because we recognize that things can be better, I believe the pace at which our lives improve will be so much faster. And so next time you're walking down the street, you're at work, you're in school, and you see someone doing something abnormal, breaking protocol, trying a new process, put on your second-level thinking cap. Google it, try it out, give it a chance. You may just end up helping us change the world. Thank you for listening to my TED Talk.
Can we have one more round of applause for Mr. Winston Chu? I feel like my future business are going to be successful.
I wish you all the best with that.
Thank you.
But just a quick announcement on that note. At the end of our event today, we are going to be holding a very exciting, exclusive panel discussion. And then that will be followed by a networking session so that everyone who is present in person, unfortunately, in the audience here today, can have the opportunity to interact with our speakers, with our performers, and with members of the organizing committee today. So stay tuned for that. But also, on that note, Zenji,
Yes?
speaking of businesses, you know what does help them succeed?
What does help them succeed?
Languages.
Languages, yeah.
And you speak a lot of languages, don't you?
A couple languages. I speak Japanese, Tagalog. I even learned English from Barney. You know Barney, right?
We all learned English from
You
Bali.
know Barney.
You're correct. But see, that's really interesting because our next speaker's speech actually has to do with when you speak different languages, you actually behave differently. How do you feel about this?
Hattie? No cap. I agree with that.
Okay. Thank you. So on that note, okay. So I'm gonna walk towards you.
Okay.
So, and now you speak Tagalog, right?
Mhm.
How do you think you would interact with me in Tagalog if I just walked up to you and
Oy,
I was like-
kamusta?
There you go.
Yes.
But if we were in Japan
In Japan.
and you've seen me after a long time,
Okay.
how would you think you'd react to me coming up to you and saying hi?
お久しぶりです. Or お元気ですか?
Yes. So there is definitely a difference.
Okay, Hattie. We're taking too long. Let's just introduce our next speaker. Please welcome Yujiro Shimogori!
Minasama, konnichiwa. 今日はいらしていただきありがとうございます。ご出席ありがとうございます。ごめんなさい。ボタンを押すのを忘れてしまいました。I forgot to press my bilingual button. Now I can speak English. I did this ploy in front of 600 elementary students a while ago. After my speech, first graders came up to me and said, "Can I touch your button? Can I touch your button?" Eyes glittering with curiosity. I think, act, and behave like a Japanese. I think, act, and behave like an American. I can confidently say that only diverse-minded individuals understand and can accept diversity. Imagine a person who has eaten an apple would not understand about an apple. A person who has eaten an apple and an orange understands both fruit. Today, I'm going to talk to you about neoterrorism, a term coined by myself. Neoterrorism is an emergence of a diverse mindset in the process of regulating through two cultures. A person who has neoterrorism is flexible, malleable, and able to accommodate diversity. When a person goes through cross-cultural relationships, usually an individual learns a new language, and potentially that individual develops two cultural identities. Biculturalism has been an enigma for the longest time. In the turn of the century, these people were referred as marginal, spiritually unstable, restless, malaise-like, inferior in status, and they were inflicted by negative stereotypes such as apples, bananas, Oreos. When I gave a presentation at the California Association of Bilingual Education in San Diego, a Latino lady came up to me after my speech in tears. She was struggling with her biculturalism. Her parents insist on having her maintain her heritage Latino identity. At school, they would insist on having her maintain a Eurocentric identity. She was definitely struggling with her identity. Another story in Japan. I knew a Japanese boy. He said, "I don't have to speak Japanese. I don't have to learn Japanese because I'm going to go to American college and get a degree, and I'm going to work for a large American corporation." He was dead wrong. I know from experience that he will never be able to sever his tie with Japan. Unfortunately, we are misinformed about the potentials and benefits of developing biculturalism. Developing biculturalism is possible. You don't have to be marginal. In the process of going back and forth to cultures, I lived in Japan for extensive time. I lived in Japan and the United States for extensive time. I came to realize that biculturalism, there's a potential for biculturalism. In this chart, it represents my lifestyle in Japan and the United States. In 1984 to 1992, I was in Japan working in an international department functioning like a Japanese person. In 1992 to 2000, I came back, I went to the United States, stationed in Encinitas, California, and worked as a coordinating manager for a new developing graduate institute. And later, I became a home-based teacher at an immersion program at Culver City, California. In 2000 to 2009, I came back to Japan, and then I was working at an international school as a home-based teacher, later became a director of an English program at a private Catholic school in Japan. 2009, 2017, I went back to the United States once again to get my doctorate degree, and later I taught at 3 universities in Southern California. And once again, stay with me, okay? Once again, 2017 to now, I'm back in Japan teaching at a Japanese university. In the process of going back and forth, I came across, before that, this photo. The left side is my Japanese self as a Japanese educator. The right side is a lecturer at a university in California. Can you tell the difference? Very different, right? So excuse me. In the process of going back and forth to cultures, I experienced 3 disconnects that led me to the development of neo-terrorism, as well as the urgency to provide this information to you. The first disconnect was my cultural identity. I was, after I graduated college, I went back to Japan, but I was lost. I didn't have any Japanese education, so the questions that kept on emerging was, am I Japanese or am I American? Speaking 2 languages when I was small was a challenge. I was born in Tokyo, and later on my family was stationed in Los Angeles, and we lived in Los Angeles for 4 years, came back to Japan, and I spent my formative and adolescence years in Japan, in Tokyo, at international schools. At that time, I developed what I call an international school identity. The classes were in English, but I did not grow up watching Superman or Batman. I grew up watching manga and anime. So I knew I was not Japanese. I knew I was not American. The second disconnect was in mid-1990s. I went back to Boston to study, and I came across this theory of identity, a monolithic theory of identity by Erik Erikson. And he defines identity as sameness and continuity. What this means is, for example, John. John was John yesterday, he's John today, he's John tomorrow, and he's going to remain as a John. He's not going to change his identity. So there's a sameness and continuity of the identity. But when posed the question, what happens to this definition when a person goes through multiple cultures and experiences, for instance, biculturalism? No answer was given. The third disconnect is now. What we are all going through, day in and day out. We hear about the disconnections of the global world. Disconnect between the rich and the poor, disconnect between technology and humanness, disconnect between virtual reality and reality, disconnect between nature and humans, disconnect between nations and ideologies. Everywhere we see a disconnection. It's about to belong or not to belong. 3 clarifications before I talk about neo-terrorism. The first, I keep on talking about bicultural identity development, but neo-terrorism also implies the people who go through multicultural experiences. Clarification number 2, I talk about Japanese identity, American identity, but neo-terrorism implies other cross-cultural relationships as well. A Latino person growing up in America, a British with a French. Third clarification, in the process of going through cross-cultural relations, the first and foremost development is your language. Language development is the first thing. Okay, so back to neo-terrorism. Once again, neo-terrorism is the emergence of a new mindset, a diverse mindset in the process of cultivating 2 cultural identities. I need to describe what I mean by diverse mindset. In other words, it's another way to look at the world. It's a new awareness. It's a new earth living. In order to go a little bit more deeply into this understanding, I'm going to talk about the 4 elements necessary to understand. The first element is the new awareness that identity is your choice. Okay? When you grow up in one culture, you don't really think about your identity. For example, an Indian person growing up in India naturally becomes an Indian, right? But when you launch on a bicultural path, it's inevitable that you think about your identity. While the choices are oftentimes determined by the social and ideological agendas, and oftentimes these factors steer your identity, ultimately, remember, you have the choice for your identity. Second element is functioning is your identity. In the process of going back and forth, I realized sameness and continuity does not quite fit. So what's the definition? It's about belonging to a community. It's about being part of a community. It's functioning of the community that determines your identity. What I mean by functioning is it could be working in the community, it could be volunteering in the community, becoming part of the community. That defines who you are, your identity. Third element is you need to maintain cultural balance. And what I mean by this is an individual requires to have equally substantial and significant experiences in both cultures. Okay, you can't just focus on one culture, both cultures. For example, while sometimes the 2 cultures could be challenging due to the social and ideological understanding, it can be done. Let me give you an example. My Japanese identity and my American identity. Japan is a collectivist culture, and what that means is they value harmony, a community-based mind. The United States is an individualistic society, which they value voicing your opinion, self-esteem. In Japan, they say a nail that is sticking out is hammered in. My mother oftentimes told me, listen to other people. Be quiet. Silence is gold. In the United States, they say a squeaking wheel gets the grease. So if you voice yourself out loud like this, which is the squeaking wheel, you get noticed. People recognize you. So one culture tells you to be silent. The other culture tells you to make yourself noticed. Can such dichotomizing perspectives be embraced? Can it? The answer is yes. And the reason why I say this is because as people, we are equipped to maintain balance, homeostasis. You all heard about physiological homeostasis, also psychological homeostasis. That means we all want to feel happy. We want to feel good. We want to maintain ourselves. We want to feel comfortable. Okay, when there's tension, we want to when there's tension between two cultures, we could still maintain that balance. I can maintain a mentality that is community-based, as well as maintain a mind that has to voice my opinion. I could remain silent. I can remain expressive. The fourth element, omnibus consciousness. This is when an individual understands the differences and the commonalities of each cultures, as well as a person able to blend the two cultural understandings and create a new reality. I can think, act, and behave like a Japanese. I can think, act, and behave like an American. I can think and act like a global person, a blend between two cultures. It's not about how you look. It's not about how you appear. It's not about where you were born. What matters is how much are you willing to give to the community? How much are you willing to be a contributed factor of that community? How much you recognize and appreciate the jewels of each cultures and willing to make a good community, create your good community. It's about becoming a problem solver. It's about you becoming a storyteller of your own story. Let me tell you an omnibus consciousness personal story. I created an English program for a Japanese school. It was based on constructivism, and that means the curriculum was meaningful education focusing on the Japanese culture. So I blended the US wisdom of constructivism with the Japanese program and created a new program. So in conclusion, what can we do? What can you do? What can educators do? One answer is to teach another language to everyone in the world. Language has the capability to transform an individual. Second language acquisition is the first step. We are in dire need of people who are receptive to multiple ideas and perspectives. And bicultural identity development is one method. Neo-terrorism is another method. In order to deal with the dichotomizing world, in order to create one world. It's not about to belong or not to belong. It's about to belong and not belong. Once again, those who have a diverse mindset is capable of understanding diversity. And ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your attendance, and hopefully you start creating your bilingual buttons and then live life with zest and enthusiasm, eyes glittering with curiosity. Thank you very much. Muchas gracias. ありがとうございました。
Okay, everyone, can we have one more round of applause for Mr. Yujiro Shimogori?
I think we can all agree with Mr. Yujiro's experiences.
Definitely, especially all of us here at TIU. And you know, Zenji, up to now we've had two amazing speakers bringing up a lot of interesting and diverse topics so far, but it can get a little bit confusing keeping everything straight.
Yes, I think everyone looks tired, so I feel like playing game right now.
Playing a game?
Yeah.
What kind of game?
Do you know, like, in our school we use like an app? I think it starts with K.
Oh, Kahoot!
Yes, Kahoot.
Yes. See, Kahoot is something everybody here at TIU is very familiar with. And this actually sounds like a really great idea. We can play a really, really quick Kahoot quiz, a few fun questions to get everybody excited for the next half, to remind you of everything that just happened.
So which you can do by go to kahoot.it, and which is you can
Enter the
QR code over there.
QR code or the pin, which will be up very soon. Yes. The sound that brings back flashbacks for every TIU student. Okay, so either enter that code or scan the QR code. We'd love to get everyone involved, especially our speakers. Thank you.
So we will wait for you.
Yes. Remember to enter your name so that you know if you're winning. We are very pleased to announce that if you win, you get absolutely nothing.
But we're proud of you.
Yes, we will be very proud of you. All right, we're going to wait a bit more for everyone to join in.
A few more?
Just a few more.
Oh, emojis.
Someone's slaying out there, excellent.
So you guys are in the game or not yet?
Anyone who hasn't been able to join yet? Anyone out there? Oh, yes.
Oh, we will wait for you.
Yes. We're not starting without our speakers, Zenji. Ooh, there's going to be a lot of competition out there today.
Yeah, there's too many people.
Not a bad thing. Let's see how well everyone remembers what's happened so far.
Kencha, I believe in you. So you guys are good? Ready?
Everyone good? Everyone good? All right.
Okay. So let's get started.
Yes. Okay, welcome to our TEDxTIU event in 3, 2, 1.
First question.
Yes. Ooh.
What are the names of our English MCs?
MC1 and MC2. Harry and Zara, of course.
Zara?
Hayati and Brad.
I'm Brad.
Yes, you are Brad. Or Hayati and Zenji. We're starting you off with a really, really tough one. All right. And in 3, 2, 1. I'm going for Brad.
Oh.
Okay, whoever got that wrong.
Who says I'm Brad?
I am so
Who says I'm Brad?
Please meet Zenji outside later. Thank you. All right, let's see how everyone did. Gitima.
Gitika.
Gitima. No, Gitima.
Gitima.
Is right on top. Excellent. All right, everyone, let's move on to our next question. Ooh, let's see how much attention you've been paying. What is written on the back of the TEDxTIU members' t-shirts? TEDxTIU members, hide. Keep calm and rethink the normality. We love TEDxTIU. Long live TIU, or ideas worth spreading. Okay, everyone from TEDxTIU, just duck real quick.
Just hide your logos.
Yes. We do have a hint. We have the front of the t-shirt up there. Zenji, do you remember the back?
I think we love TEDxTIU.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
I love TEDxTIU.
Ooh, it's ideas worth spreading, everyone.
Good job.
Good job, everyone.
Next question.
Yes.
Oh, wait.
Ooh, let's see how everyone did first.
Brian.
Brian. Oh, Gitima has been knocked out of the top spot. All right, let's keep going.
When was TEDxTIU founded?
I just said this. All right. February 1995, very old club.
June 2020.
August 2022.
January 2005.
Ooh. How old do you guys think TEDxTIU is? To be organizing events this amazing, it has to be pretty old.
Yeah, pretty old.
All right, let's see what it is. June
2020.
All right, whoever voted for 1995. No. Okay, let's see how everyone did. Ooh,
Gitima
is back. Brian
back on the
has
game.
left. Okay.
Next
but
question.
Masa has climbed up really fast. Good job.
Okay, next question.
Next question, please. Ooh.
What is the name of Winston Chew's company?
Warrior, Uber, I think, Wayfarer, or Disneyland.
I think it's Disneyland.
I'm feeling Disneyland. Winston?
Disneyland?
Yeah. I feel like this one's a little unfair for you. But what can you say? Yeah. So either Disneyland or Uber.
I feel like Disneyland is the correct
yes.
answer.
Sounds a good idea. This is true. All right,
In
3,
3, 2, 1.
And the answer is
Wayfarer.
Wayfarer. Ooh, more votes for Disneyland than we should have had. Okay, let's see how everyone did on this. Ooh,
Gitima.
ooh, the rankings are saying strong,
killing it.
everyone. All right, let's move to the next question. Ooh,
What was the Yujiro's
the name of Yujiro's concept, the one he invented himself. New turtles,
New Turtles.
nepotism,
Nepotism.
neoterism,
New Terrorism.
or neopets.
Neopets. I think New Turtles.
New turtles? You're feeling new turtles?
I like turtles.
Yes, well, not a fan of nepotism, but let's see how this works.
Neoterism.
Neoterism was the right answer.
So no turtles?
No turtles, unfortunately. No
Ah.
lemonade, no turtles.
No lemonade, no turtles.
Yes. Ooh, a lot of people dropped this.
Gitima, let's
Gitima
go.
is on top. May and the smart kid are on top. All right, everyone, let's keep going.
Next question.
What
What?
does TED stand for? Now, this is a tough one.
T-Rex eat dolphins.
Possible, possible. Thinking enables diversity.
Technology, education, development.
Or totally excited, dude.
I'm a total excited dude.
You are a totally excited, dude.
I'm a total excited dude.
All right, what does everyone think? What is the name of the event you are here at today? Ooh,
Oh.
close one. But it is technology, education, development.
Yes.
Although thinking enables diversity was very close.
But it's really hard though.
I know. Ooh, Gitima remains on
Gitima.
top. Haley and May have climbed up. Good job, you guys.
Okay, next question.
All right, one before the last question. Ooh. What is the tagline for this event? Reduce, reuse, recycle. Possible, possible. Eat, sleep, TEDxTIU, repeat. Also possible.
I hope so.
Redefine, reevaluate, readapt. Or
Or
live, love, TEDxTIU. All our TEDx members very excited about this. But it is redefine, reevaluate, and readapt.
Yes.
The slogan of our event.
Okay. Gitima.
Ooh. Some people are doing very well at this. I wonder
Very
how.
well.
Okay,
And
let's
last
move on.
question?
Okay, last question.
Last
everyone.
question.
Final shot of redemption. What kind of dance did Trang perform? Right at the beginning, the most amazing dance I've ever seen. Belly dance, contemporary and chill. Tap dance, juju on that beat, and tango.
Did you on the beat?
Contemporary, hip hop and chill. Or ballet, break dancing, and zumba. Or
Zumba.
Possible, possible.
Do you know how to dance Zumba?
If someone shows me, I can follow along. It's not that hard.
I don't know Zumba.
We'll see what we can do about that.
Okay.
All right. Come on, everyone. Yes, contemporary hip hop and chill. Thank you, Chang. And because we have come to the end of our little game, in
On
third
third place,
the smart kid.
The smart kid.
Woo! In second
place,
May.
May.
Woo! But in first place.
First place. Oh!
We have had an upset. Gitima has been knocked out of first place. Everybody. Fio, May, and the smart kid. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
All right, everyone. All right, people seem like they are ready to move on with our show. But we are going to give you a very quick break just so that you can go out, get some food, refresh yourselves, and be even more excited for the next half.
Yes, on that note, we're going to have 25 minutes break.
Yes, be back here at 3:10 p.m. exactly. You don't want to miss the next half.
Seriously, guys, don't be late.
See you soon.
We'll be right back.
All right, everyone. Again, thank you all so much for coming back from break. Please do sit down. Let's settle in. And then we will begin the second half of our event. Again, thank you all so much for coming in. Let's all settle down. Thank you so much.
Oh, you guys are still here. That's good. We're not done yet.
We are definitely not done yet.
Yes.
I am very glad that everyone is back and refreshed because I am personally so excited for the next speaker.
Next speaker. Wait. Do you know him?
I do know him. So I have the honor of calling Ayush a friend, but he is also the perfect person to speak about today's theme. Ayush is going to have to wait until after the bell. But
What a lovely bell.
I know, everyone at TIU has heard this many, many times. Give it a minute for everyone to keep coming inside and sitting down. Ayush, you've got a build up for you here.
Just wait a minute.
Bit
Just
more,
a
bit
bit
more.
more.
A little bit more.
A bit more.
There we go.
And now.
And there we go. But coming back to our next speaker, Ayush. Ayush is constantly going beyond what is expected of him. He does it with honesty and he does it with integrity. But the best part is that he used to be a student right here at TIU.
Oh, really? I can't wait to meet them. Is he here right now? Where is he?
You know, I really hope he is, otherwise I just wasted a very nice introduction on nothing. Ayush?
Wait. Do you know what he's talking about?
I do.
Oh.
So Ayush is going to be talking about realistic concepts. The standards that have been set for him by his parents, by his siblings, and by society. But he's going to be talking about how he defines his own version of normal and how he creates his own path every day.
Normal? Am I normal? Are you normal? Are you guys normal?
No?
No?
I'm hearing yeses, nos. All right. Let's let Ayush tell us about this. Ladies and gentlemen, can I get a round of applause for Ayush Bhattacharya?
Hello, I'm just an average guy. My mom once told me, look at your older brothers. The first one, he left Nepal with nothing but a broken suitcase, filled with hopes and dreams. And now he's in Japan. He has a big house and has an amazing job. And the other one is helping take care of our family business. What are you doing? That was my mom's way of saying, I hate to break it to you, but you always were the least favorite child. My brothers are 11 and 13 years older than me. It was like having 3 disappointed dads constantly telling me that my grades aren't good enough or I'm not working hard enough to find a better job. They were right. I was not living up to what they were capable of at my age. The more they excelled in life, the more my average grades, my average looks, my average life looked a lot less than average. Sure, I'm beyond thrilled for them. I'm an excellent cheerleader. I guess that's one thing I'm truly exceptional at. Comes with practice. My oldest brother, who has been living here in Japan for over half of his life now, he went from job to job looking for the things that he's good at, the things he can provide the most value for, and he's achieved it all. At every single point I've seen him, I end up comparing that point with where I am right now, or even plotting where he was at the same time after his graduation. That feeling of the need to catch up grows every single day. But here's the thing. While my brothers were making the decisions of going to university in the US or Japan or Germany or even helping take care of the family business, I was there trying to pick out which lunchbox to take to school. I got a dream job. I walked into a room full of smiles and greetings, and then immediately I was peed on. I work with kids. They think I'm great. I'm really not. I'm just the best that they've been exposed to at the age of 3. I mean, how many people have they even met? While I love working with kids, sometimes I feel like I'm stuck at a job that I'm average at. But I'm looking for another job that I can be average at, but pays more. Now, I want you guys to try this. Close your eyes and imagine the 5-year-old you runs up to the current you and gives you the warmest hug and says that they're proud of you and what you've achieved so far. Well, this was my way of expressing how I didn't get any verbal affection as a child, and I had to create these kind of scenarios so I can feel loved. We should not pursue being average, but rather be able to accept it if or when we end up being average, despite our strongest efforts. Considering the fact that we are average at a majority of things that we do, there's definitely things that we can be truly exceptional at. We got cooking, singing, maybe public speaking, even disappointing your parents. Well, my point is, because we all have such limited time and energy, a few of us can dedicate enough of both of those and truly become exceptional at more than one thing. It is highly improbable that any individual can dedicate enough of both of those and truly become exceptional at all, or even many areas of their life. Got Jeff Bezos and Bill Gates, both with successful business ventures, net worths of over hundreds of billions of dollars, are both divorced. One might assume that being able to afford anything in the world would be enough. But it's not. That's what makes us human. The fact that we, and even society's standard of extraordinary individuals, are flawed. And in all honesty, that's okay. In a society where being average is basically the new standard of failure, now you might be thinking, if we accept being mediocre and average, then we might not succeed and nothing that we do will matter. Well, that would only be true if you thought that most people are worthless because, after all, aren't we all average? Now, on the contrary, what makes exceptional people is their realization that they always had room for improvement. They were obsessed with positive change. This meant that they knew that they weren't perfect. They were mediocre to begin with. They were average. Imagine you realize that. You are then ready to lift that constant pressure off your shoulders, to be exceptional at all times and be the best. Get rid of that pressure to be better than your siblings, your friends, your relatives, even loved ones. And finally accept your mundane existence, so you can go and finally and freely accomplish what you wish to accomplish with no heavy expectations and appreciate your amazing, average, and normal life. Now, even the average guy can finally say, "Thank you for coming to my TED Talk."
Okay, everyone, can we have one more round of applause for Ayush? Woo. You know, I have never felt this good about being completely average before.
Good. You should get used to that. And now, since you guys must be tired of seeing us a lot, we're going to pass over to Japanese MCs. Please welcome Yuhei and Yune.
善治さん、林さん、ありがとうございます。
ありがとうございます。
いよいよこのイベントも終わりが近づいてきてしまいました。どんなパフォーマンスを見られるかワクワクしています。
実は次のパフォーマーはなんと次世代スターをお呼びしているんですよ。
次世代スター。
はい。
どんな方なんでしょ
それは秘密です。気になりますか？
う。もちろんですよ。今すぐにでもパフォーマンス見たいです。
ということで、ゆうとさん、準備の方はよろしいでしょうか？
はい、OK です。
お、準備が整ったということで、そろそろゆうとさんのもう待ちきれないと思いますね。
そうですね、ワクワクが止まりません。
ゆうねさんも会場にいる皆さんも、そして配信を見ている皆さんも、もう待ちきれない方も多いと思います。それではゆうとさん、よろしくお願いします。
最後まで盛り上がっていきましょう。What will you tell?目と目合わせてコミュニケーション聞けばわかる俺の声いいでしょ誘う今日のパーティーも君と GO 休み時間はなしでぶとんでいこう、つまらない話くだらない話聞く耳が腐りそうになったら DJ 回せターンテーブルブルブルするみブルブボディのセッション、普段はどうよ今日はどうよ夜はまだまだ続く予報よ雨や雪に降られてももくもく降ってきた一本のバットマジで今日は試合相手泣かせだって YOU 点が沸かせるフローじゃなくてフロアの温度さあ行こうぜ沸点はすぐそう Go walk ビッグなヒストリー目に焼き付ける俺はいつもいい調子はどうなんて聞かないでだって俺はダンクシュートで決めりゃいい誰よりも輝いていつもいい上手まずはこっちに来ればいいそういつもいいつもりでもいい今がいいならそれでいい Normality いつもいい平均でもいつも OKスネアキックス If 叶うとすればまず言葉にして周りに伝えなきゃ思いは形にして初めてわかる転んでも傷後から学びがあるアンチがシットのおしゃべり内容は団地で口言うおばちゃんサークルマジで鼻血出るってな言いたいことは嗅ぎつけない SNS の影響はでんと成長してベストフレンドすらインフルエンサーならいいささワークビッグなヒストリー目に焼き付けろ俺はいつもいい調子はどうなんて聞かないでだって俺はいつもいいダンクシュートで決めりゃいい誰よりも輝いていつもいい文句とか言わないでまずはこっちに来ればいいワークビッグなヒストリー目に焼き付けろ俺はいつもいい調子はどうなんて聞かないでだって俺はいつもいいダンクシュートで決めりゃいい誰よりも輝いていつもいい文句とか言わないでまずはこっちに来ればいいいつもいいつもりでもいい今がいいならそれでいいNormality Yeah ありがとうございます改めまして YOU10 ゆうとですよろしくお願いしますすごいですねこんなに歓声があるとは思いませんでした嬉しいですありがとうございます、僕はですね学生の頃から野球をベースボールをやっていまして、高校卒業とともに野球をやめてこの音楽マイクを手にしたんですけれども、今はその音楽を、日本東北の福島県の方で中心に活動しています、はい、で今1曲目お届けした「いつもいい」という曲なんですけれども、今回のイベントのテーマである「Normality」というタイトルがですね、いつもいいという言葉と似ているのかなとは思っていてその毎日繰り返される日々の中いい時もあれば悪い時もあってこういう波があると思うんですけどこの波が高い時も低い時も悪い時はいい時のための悪い時と思えばまたいい時のために頑張れるからいつもいいんじゃないかなっていうことでこの曲を歌わせてもらってます。この曲を聴いて、自分自身皆さん一人一人に自信を持っていただいてまた明日から頑張ってもらえればなと思ってるんでよかったら曲も配信してるんでいつもいいって調べてみてください。では次の曲いつもいいからもう一歩踏み込んだ曲を聴いてください。 Just go ahead Just go ahead now, you know 振り返らないよもう広がる日の像に立ち向かってゆこうあともう何回だろうと思う気にせずに行こう立ち止まることに意味なんてもないだろう行こう Just go ahead nowもしも世界が急に止まるとしたら君は誰に愛抱きしめさうならを告げるだろうそんな日が来ないことを今願ってるけど絶対にないなんてことはここじゃ宣言できないだろう、後悔ばっかりだったやめたいなって語った人生だったなんて過去ばっかり引きずるような人にはなるな今を生きて今を感じ今が一番だろう、それでなくちゃ明日を生きる意味はない Just go ahead now, you know 振り返らないよもう広がる日の像に立ち向かってゆこうあともう何回だろうと思う気にせずに行こう立ち止まることに意味なんてもないだろう行こう Just go ahead now そうさ生まれ持った才能がなけりゃ必死に勉強しな頭の中回る言葉の連続だ次に進む駒で人生ロングラン走れ走り続け目指すゴールは君にとって最高級の笑みでハグを近づきすぎちゃダメよダメだけどそれも元に戻るか取るかそるか俺ならバクる過去は過去で歩く先の未来はてめえのもんだ You know 振り返らないよもう広がる日の像に立ち向かってゆこうあともう何回だろうと思う気にせずに行こう 立ち止まることに意味なんてもないだろう太陽が昇り照らす先道は開く今でも目指す価値 Everyday everybody ほら声を出し力合わせ一つになれ太陽が昇り照らす先道は開く今でも目指す価値 Everyday everybody ほら声を出し力合わせ一つになれありがとうございますさあでは暑い日が続くんでやっぱり夏って言ったらこれでしょうホームラン間違いなんてあってないようなもんだぜ、yeah、正解ばっかり探しちゃってる Everyday 強がりばっかりしてもいいことなんてないさ Alright 晴れた空の下君と夢追っかけたい青にさえまだ期待値若めの顔に不安って書いてあっても100の倍の倍の倍くらい情熱に生きてこやぼやまだまだまだまだってどれだけやれるかって大事なんだネバギバッと己に負けずに一歩一歩踏み出してこいや暗闇で目覚まして叫び続けよう太陽が君を照らしたらあの空に打ち上げた一つの放物線を今でも思い出すよ君との夏の日を我が道突っ走れガルスボイスも関係なしで君がヒーロー君がヒーローフルスイングでこうや HOMERUN Let's go HOMERUN HOMERUN Come on HOMERUN ありがとうListen 始まりなんて関係ないようなもんだぜ、yeah、周りの俺ばかり気にしちゃってる Everyday はつまんない暗闇の中であがき向かいた運だけ、yeah、光が差す方に自然と流れる人生はたまたあらやだって逆さまになってたくさん悩んでたって明日もその次も来るから今日は今日の自分を褒めようやまだまだまだまだってどれだけやれるかが大事なんだ今がチャンス己に雨夢中1分1秒大切なもんさ君は持ってるから自信を持ってゆこうあの日夢見た景色の中で太陽が君を照らしたらあの空に打ち上げた一つの放物線は今でも高く飛んでる先棒を乗せてお前ならできると言ってくれた仲間にも今の自分をフルスイングでこうやCome on, everybody. HOMERUN. One more time. HOMERUN.あの空に打ち上げた一つの放物線を今でも思い出すよ君との夏の日を我が道突っ走れガルスボイスも関係なしで君がヒーロー あの空に打ち上げた一つの放物線は今でも高く飛んでるさ希望を乗せてお前ならできると言ってくれた仲間にも見せたいんだ今の自分をフルスイングでこうや HOME RUN HOME RUN HOME RUN HOME RUN ありがとうダンサーを紹介します東京からミク福島からリナありがとうございますさあ会場も温まってきたところで最後の一曲になりますありがとうございますラストソングすいません日本語で行かせてください英語難しいですすいませんベリーディフィカルトそうですね今日本当にお呼びいただきありがとうございます、皆さんとこうやってね音楽を通して楽しめたことが何より最高です、今日はですね自分福島で主に活動してるんですけれども皆さんに1個持って帰っていただきたいなと思ったのが、次に最後披露するナジョスッペっていう曲があるんですけれどもナジョスッペ、福島の方で福島弁で、What's up っていう意味になります Why? What's up? どうすればいいんだっていうそれに対してサスケねっていうような言葉があるんですね気にすんなやっちゃえっていう言葉があるんですけどそういった曲をお届けしたいなと思いますなのでサビは今みたいにホームラン HOMERUN ではなくてナジョスッペサスケねー OK ですか一回やっておきますか 1, 2, 3, 4ナジョスッペサスケねーありがとうございますさあそれでは最後の一曲お届けしたいと思います本当に今日はありがとうございましたゆうとでしたナジョスッペEverybody sing! Hands up sunrise 向かう先は一つさ始めるのさ今のキックオフぐるりぐる風に揺れ帰るぬるい日本僕らのため歌え声枯れるまで走れ体尽きるまでおいどきな昔の考え今になれば作る風車の夢風車との間はどうだろう夏は足りない問題あんだべ What's up everybody sing作ろう心デニムできるまで描く道筋 Put your hands up ナジョスッペサスケねーナジョスッペありがとうナジョスッペサスケねーナジョスッペ2ステップワンタイム目指すものはきっと新しいものなのさ今のヒップホップ頃理想になったとしても助け合うのだろう僕らいつも大きな夢に向かってゆく姿かっこいいじゃんいつか見たあの日の風景もう一度描き出せ前を向いて風車との間はどうだろうまずは足りない問題あんだべ What's up everybody sing Hey ho hey ho作ろう心ここに目を出し旅立つストーリー Put your hands up ナジョスッペ Sasukeね謎すべ謎すべ謎すべ謎すべ謎すべ謎すべSasukeね謎すべ謎すべ謎すべミクリーナ Hey everybody see 謎すべ謎すべ謎すべSasukeね謎すべ謎すべ謎すべ謎すべ謎すべ謎すべSasukeね謎すべ謎すべ謎すべ One more time 謎すべ謎すべ謎すべSasukeね謎すべ謎すべ謎すべ Let's go 謎すべ謎すべ謎すべSasukeね謎すべ謎すべ謎すべありがとうございました。
いやー、圧巻のステージでしたね。もう一度ゆうとさんに拍手をお願いします。
本当に年齢が近いからこそ共感できるものも多くありましたよね。
そうですね。
さてここで部長のシャフィーさんからスピーチがあるようです。シャフィーさんお願いします。
Hello everyone. Sorry. I forgot how to do this. I was enjoying myself a little too much back there. Yuten, Yuto, amazing stuff, amazing stuff. Thank you so much. One more round of applause for them. Thank you so much. And one more round of applause for the speakers. Woo! I should have prepared something. I really have not. I think I'm just gonna keep this short and sweet. Thank you all so much for coming to this event. Really, really means a lot. I feel like I haven't introduced myself. For those of you who don't know who this weirdo is, who keeps coming on thinking it's his, his turf here, it is my turf. I'm the president. Sorry. So yeah, just again, thank you all so much for coming in here today. This event really is for the TIU community, so I really, really hope you guys enjoyed and had a good time, met a lot of new people, and afterwards we're also gonna have like a bit of a networking session, so stick around for that and get to know new people and things like that. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I think I'm ready to get off stage. Can I get the okay to get off stage? All right, guys, thank you so much for coming today, and yeah, bye-bye.
ということで、もうイベントの終了時間が近づいてきてしまったようです。
いやー、名残惜しいですね。スタッフの皆さん、最初からイベントをもう一回やってもらうことってできますか？もう一回やりたいんですよ。あ、ダメ。じゃあ次回のイベントはありますか？あるんですね。じゃあ次回のイベントまでのお楽しみということですね。
そうですね。次のイベントもあるんですね。そういえば皆さん、お聞きしたいんですけど、今回のイベントで普通について考え方が変わったよって方いらっしゃいますか？
おお、たくさんいらっしゃいますね。うわ、めちゃめちゃ嬉しい。ありがとうございます。自分も実際にこの普通について180度変わりましたよ。
そうなんですね。わかります。今回いい刺激を得ることができましたよね。今回このイベントに参加してくださった皆さんもこの刺激を 他の人に共有してみてほしいです。
そうですね。そうすれば普通についての認識が少しずつ分かってくるかもしれませんね。
そうですね。How about Zenji and Hayati? How do you guys feel about today?
Thank you. All right, thank you, Yune and Yuhei, everyone. So I think what we took away from this event is that we have to think beyond what we usually consider to be normal. From the way we interact with people from all around the world, to society, to how we do business. Our definition of normal is changing every day.
Also, a big thank you to Tokyo International University for having us and making this possible. So, round of applause for TIU!
And right with TIU, we would like to take a moment to thank the people without whom today's event would not have happened. Our speakers put so much time and effort into preparing their speeches, into being here today. Can we have one big round of applause for our speakers?
You know what, Hayati? We can't forget the amazing performance. Let's give a round of applause for Chang and Yuto.
But last but definitely not least, we cannot forget the dedicated group of people who put together today's event. None of this would be here today without the tireless work of the team of TEDxTIU. So can we have a big round of applause for TEDxTIU, everyone? And on that note, we have come to the end of our show, but only for, unfortunately, everyone who is online. People who are here in person, we have quite a bit more to go, but we are going to have to say goodbye to everyone who is here online. So, thank you for coming.
Stay safe.
Hope you enjoyed.
See you soon.
Everyone help us say bye to the online people.
Bye-bye.
Committee. So now I would like to invite our speakers up on stage. Let's get the stage ready and everyone stick around. Yeah.